All right. Hope everyone's doing good. It took a bit of time for me to get this one out, and also there's a little bit of construction going on. Hope it's not too loud. If I don't get this done today, I don't think I'll have another time in at least in couple of weeks. So, all right, let's do this. Cool. Now, this was the second highest, most voted topic when I posted that poll on Instagram a few months ago. The first one was how to calculate your daily calories and macros. I've done that already. If you haven't seen it, send me a message. I'll send you the link. Now, this is super important. I think this is probably the most important one. It doesn't matter which diet, how good your diet is. You can have the best diet in the world, and if you can't stick to it, it's no good, right? So let's see what are the things you can do to stick to a diet, or technical term, how to improve your adherence to a diet. All right, cool. Now, I put this first. Do you even have to follow a diet? Because there was a little bit of an anti-diet culture developing maybe a couple of years ago. Seems like it's dying down, but yeah, things come, especially in fitness industry. Things goes in circles, so it'll resurface at some point. So I think it's important to discuss about this. Now, there was a camp or a group of people that was saying, okay, forget about diet. You shouldn't even be on a diet. Focus on lifestyle changes. There is a merit to it. Well, okay, let's just define the difference between those two. So diet is just basically following specific protocols of eating, and when they refer to lifestyle changes, they are more referring to like general guidelines, advice like drink more water, eat more vegetables, eat protein, sleep, get 7 to 8 hours sleep. They are fantastic. However, we see in research those guidelines of the lifestyle changes alone are not enough to produce significant results. So you will see when we discuss about one of the main component or thing that people stick to diets or improve adherence is results. If you're not getting results, you are not going to do it, because you're going to feel like, okay, I'm putting all this effort but nothing's happening, so then you give up, right? We all been there. If you don't see the results for relatively to the amount of effort you are putting in, it's just very demotivating and demoralizing. At some point you're going to give up. Cool. So it is important you don't have to be on a diet for the rest of your life, obviously, but if you want to get significant results in a given period of time, you do have to follow like a structured diet, and at the same time you want to start implementing your lifestyle changes as well. Otherwise, if you don't do that, even if you get results, you are very likely to go back and lose the results. So they both are important. It's not one or the other. They both are equally important. Okay, that's the point I wanted to make before we get into anything. All right, that's out of the way. All right, let's go ahead and discuss the stuff that you are here to see. Okay, now again, it's important to establish this baseline as well. Which diet is the best? Because this people keep going back and forth, and every time when something that get popular, people just keep jumping from one diet to another, thinking that's gonna give them better results, or give them a better chance at getting their desired outcome. Okay. Now, in terms of body composition or fat loss, when the calories and protein are equal, all diets, the low carb, low fat, intermittent fasting, keto, not keto. You can't put keto into this category. But all diets give you similar results in the long term. In the short term, they could be vary, because if you specifically if you go low carb, short term you will see better results because you're going to lose some water and glycogen. So on the scale, it's going to look better. But when you look at 1 year plus, that difference is very, very small. I don't remember the exact number. I wrote a post a while ago when that study was first published. If I remember correct, it was like a 1.1 kilo or something over a year period. So the low carb diet group lost 1.1 kilo extra compared to the moderate to high carb group. So it's a very small difference when you look at the long term. Okay, yeah. So the diet, the specific diet you follow, the name absolutely does not matter. What you need to do is pick something that you can stick to long term. Now, what I have seen, we see this in research as well. I don't want to bash specific diets because there are merits to certain types of diets. Things like ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, they are very easy to implement because they don't really talk about calories, creating a calorie deficit, all that stuff. Because they was like, okay, eat in this window and you will lose weight. Just cut out carbohydrates, you will lose weight. So it's just one thing that you need to focus on. So implementation wise, for specifically for general population, good, because it's not complicated, or it's less complex. But almost always in the long-term studies we see there's a huge drop-off rate when we compare traditional type of diets with intermittent fasting, very low carbohydrate ketogenic diet. When we look at like 1 year plus 2, 3, 4 years, in the long run, when you look at long run, there's a huge drop off. So it's difficult for most people to stick to for this type of diets in the long run. There are always going to be exception to the rule. I have met people that have been doing that kind of diets for a long time. If you are that kind of person, yeah, you'll be able to do it. But for the vast majority, it's going to be very difficult to stick to that kind of diets long term. Okay, cool. All right, quick recap. So the diet, the specific diet does not matter as long as the calories and the protein are equal. All diets going to produce similar kind of results. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next. Now, when do diets fail? Now, there are few things that you need to make sure the diet is successful, or it's going to give you the results you are expecting. The first one is the diet. So specifically, if you are looking for fat loss, the diet has to create a calorie deficit. I don't care. You can follow ketogenic, you can follow intermittent fasting, paleo. I don't care what you follow. The principle is the energy or caloric deficit. If it does not create a caloric deficit, you are not going to lose fat. With a with very low carb diet, even without a caloric deficit, you might lose weight in the first few weeks, because you are going to lose glycogen and water because it's a low carb diet, but you are not going to lose fat. Okay, now that's important to understand. So for a successful diet, there has to be the calorie deficit is a must. It's a non-negotiable. So calorie deficit is the principle, the methods. So the intermittent fasting, low carb, ketogenic, paleo, whatever, all these things in one category, they are methods. The principle is the caloric deficit. All these methods meet to this principle for it to be successful. Okay. Now, the second one, the adherence issues, right? So again, it doesn't matter how good the diet is. If you cannot stick to that diet, it's no good. Straight up, right? If you can't follow it, what's the point? So the diet for a successful diet, it has to create an energy deficit, and it has to be, you should be able to adhere to it. Okay, I don't know how to turn off these thumbs up bubbles and stuff. Yeah, they just come at random times. Misjudged energy expenditure. So this one is huge. I will talk about this separately in a different video. Lot of people overestimate the amount of energy they are spending throughout their exercise or the other activities they do. So they think their calorie requirement is like 3,000 or like ridiculous numbers, but actually when you calculate with the proper numbers, it's not that much. So this is a big problem. I'll show you. I'll create a different video how to decide that properly. Oh, by the way, in that how to my 5-step system to calculate your calorie and macro requirement, I talk about this one. But I will also create another video showing how, like when your activity level changes, how your requirement changes as well. Okay, but for now, if you haven't watched that my calorie and macro video, definitely go and watch it. You will learn a lot. Cool. And social and family commitments, again, very, very, very important. A lot of people fail to understand this. This is a personal trainer's or coach's mistake as well. If you look at most personal trainers, coaches, there's a huge noise here. I hope it's not, I hope the mic doesn't pick up that. But yeah, the biggest problem with a lot of trainers, they assume the people that come to work with them, they are similar to them as well. You will see, I mean, a lot of competitors, bodybuilders, they become trainers. They're very committed, right? Oh, I used to compete in bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding as well. Generally, the competitors, personal trainers, they pick that as a career. They are into it. They are into dieting. They are into exercise. So they don't mind, bringing their lunch, their pre-packed meal to social situations and eat that, or bringing that box to the movie, which is ridiculous, by the way. But they can do it. But a normal person can't do it. You can't skip a family dinner. You can't skip a family gathering. If a friend invites you to dinner, you cannot bring your own lunch box. So there should be a way, when you're on the diet, there should be a method that you can work around those situations, right? Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. Always remember, health. When you talk about health, it's not just about physical health, mental health, social health. All that stuff are important. We are not living in a bubble. We're living in a society. So all these things need to take into consideration. Okay, cool. Moving on. Okay, now we are getting to the meat and potatoes. The qualities of a successful diet that you can stick to long term. So how the diet should look like for you to be able to stick to a long term. Okay, like I said earlier, it should produce results. If it doesn't produce results, you are going to lose the motivation and you're not going to follow it straight up. Okay. And the diet should taste good. If the food is boring, again, you might be able to do it for a short period of time. Now, also, this is another problem with like programs as well. When you pay for a coach for like 3 months and sign up for a program, even the food sucks, you might follow it because you're paying for that person, otherwise it's going to be a waste, right? But as soon as you stop it, you might be able to, again, you might stick to it, okay, another week or two, then again, that's gonna go out of the window. I can guarantee you that. You probably experienced that already. Yeah, so the food has to taste good. Satiation, or in other words, it should fill you up. If the food volume is too small, if you're getting hungry, again, it's a basic human need. You can't stay hungry if you're gonna break at some point. That's so much willpower we have. If you keep getting hungry, you're gonna break at some point. Okay, the flexibility. The flexibility. So this again, you need to the strict diets don't work long run. Period. It just doesn't. The diets should, whatever the diet you follow should be flexible enough to adapt into different situations. Like if let's say I work with a lot of parents. When they have little kids, they get sick all the time. Sometimes they get sick, they're in the hospital. Now, all of a sudden, there's like comes out of nowhere, and they stay in the hospital now. Only hospital food available. They don't have the meal prep or anything. Sometimes they have to stay in hospital for longer. Meal prep, all that stuff. Then there should be, yeah, you might not be able to be 100% on everything, but there should be certain guidelines put in place to pick the things, pick the best things from the things that are available to you. Yeah, okay, you get the idea. There should be flexibility into different situations. So emergencies, family dinners, trips, traveling, all that stuff. I have an entire module in the program. Is one of those things that I try so much, like so hard to teach to my clients, because if you don't learn this, nobody is going to be able to maintain results long term. Yeah, so we talked about this already. Yeah, so it should align with your personality. If your favorite food is pizza, don't try to do keto. You're going to fail. Okay, I think that's fairly straightforward. But I think again the problem is a lot of people think, okay, like certain diets are better, so that's why they try to become a different person, or to go into a specific diets even though it does not align with their values or the personality, and end up being miserable. So that's also why I wanted to make that point in the beginning. No diet is better than the other. Okay, so yeah. Mental health friendly. Okay, I wrote it in a different way, but then I thought I should rephrase it. I felt like it's a little harsh. Yes, so if the food that you eat makes you miserable, yeah, that's not a good diet. Um, yeah, I think again that's fairly straightforward. If your diet, like, again, it's so weird. It's still some people believe like specific certain food that you have to lose. You have to eat this specific food to lose weight, otherwise you're not gonna get the best results. So they end up putting clients on like very specific food. Even the person hates it, they have to eat it because it's on the diet. Then you just end up being miserable, and it's no good. And also another problem with, again, a lot of coaches, like you will see this like very commonly. If the coach is following intermittent fasting, all of their clients is doing intermittent fasting as well. That's the only thing they know how to do. They put intermittent fasting regardless their personal preference. If the client is keto, same shit. Sorry about that. If the trainer is paleo or carnivore or whatever, they put clients also on the same diet. So it's not a good approach to coach people. You gotta consider what suits for them, and create the diet according to that. Okay. Now, not overly restrictive. Again, this is very well documented. Restrictive diets fail long term. Period. Okay, so the diet should not be cut out certain food groups and overly restrictive towards certain food groups. Okay, cool. Now, important things. So these things, the important factors for diet adherence. Okay, now diet. So we talked about, if you want to lose fat, you have to be in a caloric deficit. Now, when you choose the caloric deficit you are going to be in, choose the highest caloric deficit. Not choose. Sorry, that's the wrong wording. Choose the highest calories you can eat and still get decent results. Okay, because if you are in a big deficit, meaning you are eating too little amount of calories, it's going to be very, very difficult to stick to it long term. You're going to feel lethargic, your energy level is going to go down, your mood is going to be low, your libido is going to be low, and it also affects your workouts. You're not going to be moving much without you even thinking. Your activity level go down, so that's also not good for fat loss. And also this is where you start reaching for snacks without you even thinking. Now you might be in a low calorie on the paper, but realistically, if you keep reaching for snacks, you're going to eat more calories. That's going to hinder your fat loss as well. So this is like whichever the way you look at it, being in a big calorie deficit for a long period of time is a terrible idea, right? So the goal shouldn't be to be in a big deficit. The goal should be to get the best results with the highest amount of calories possible. Okay, so tailored diet plan, I think this is fairly obvious. Again, the diet has to include the type of food you like to eat. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to stick to long term. Flexibility, again, we talk about. Actually, I'll show you something very quickly when I say flexibility. So this is very important to understand what I mean by this. You have to have a few different strategies in place. I'll show you what I teach my clients. Yeah, so there's a whole module, managing diet in social situations. We cover a few different strategies that can apply to pretty much anything you can think of. Eating out on restaurant, date nights, dinners at friend dinners, lunch, friends, relatives' house, traveling to Sri Lanka, holidays, cruises, buffets, literally anything you can think of, camping, barbecue, New Year's, Christmas, because if you want to be able to enjoy that family, like the social situation, and enjoy that different types of food, and also be able to maintain your results as well, right? So that's this specific, there should be a few strategies in place. Otherwise, you're going to get stressed when you're in that situation, and you will not be able to enjoy it. Okay. All right, let's get back to it. Oh yeah, this one, the maintaining your training. So we see this in research, and this is my personal experience also. I've seen this with clients as well. When you stop training, when you stop going to gym, even like sometimes you think, okay, I'm not going to train for a bit, but I'm going to start. But I'm going to continue to eat healthy. You can think how many times you were able to do it. You will do it for a couple of days, then that goes out of the window. So the training is it's very the training, consistent training is highly correlated with people choosing healthier diet options. So don't stop your training. Even if you get busy, you can reduce the number of times you go to gym or the length of your training sessions, but don't completely stop. Okay. Yeah, don't overestimate willpower. The less you have to tax your willpower, the better. Yeah, stick to a diet that you can enjoy, keep you full, relatively decent tasting food. Otherwise, not going to be able to do it long term. Oh yeah, this one. Plan for social emergence. Social events, emergencies, all that stuff. Otherwise, sometimes what happens when you just go to a birthday or dinner, then you end up eating something that was not in your diet plan, and it's like, okay, screw it, I already ruined it. So if it happened like a Friday, then you're going to, on the entire weekend, you just going to keep eating whatever you can get your hands on. Then you're going to think you're going to start on Monday. Then when you look yourself in the mirror on Monday, it seems like you put on some fat, the scale's gone up. Now it's all downhill from there. Okay. Not that gaining a little bit of weight is bad temporarily. It's fine, but it's just the psychology, it's the way we think. When you don't have that guidelines or structure in place, people tend to get stressed and just go off track. All right, cool guys, I hope this helped. Yeah, I will hopefully see you soon again in another video. Ciao.